Let's suppose that you're invited to appear at Shark Tank and you're seeking $200,000 from the sharks for the given percent of your company or product. What valuation are you giving your company or product? And we have the most typical ones. If if you watch Shark Tanks like I do, these are the main percents that you see. I've seen some as low as 2% and 1%. 50% is one that's also been used. Obviously, the first thing the shark will ask you is your revenue, your profit margins, and so forth. And then they'll say, well, you're asking for a valuation of. And very quickly after you present that you want $200,000 for, say, the first one is 5%, they compute your valuation. That is the valuation that you're giving your company. So see, I'll go ahead and you can go ahead and pause the video, and see if you can work these out. And then I'll come back. So here we go then. The shark might say something like this. You're asking for part A 5%, so 200,000 times 20 is 4 million. So they'll ask you, how do you get that valuation? What's your revenue? What's your profit margins? Over what time? And so forth. So you just multiply it by 20. Now for B, okay, you're asking 10%. So the shark multiplies that 200,000 by 10 and say, okay, your valuation is 2 million. How do you get that? For D, 20%. So the shark says, well, 200,000 times 5 is 1 million. So your valuation of your product or company is 1 million. How do you get that? Well, let's look at those first. So let's look at 5% first. 5% is 0.05. That's 500. So that's the same thing as 5 over 100, which reduces to 1 over 20. So when you're asking for 200,000 and you're requesting 5% equity, you're giving up 5% of your company. That's really telling the sharks that 200,000 is equal to 5% of the total value of your company. So if I divide this, if I solve for X, where X is the valuation of your company or product, dividing both sides by 0.05 cancels the 0.05 on this side. I'll get X is equal to 200,000 divided by 0.05. So that's 200,000 divided by 0.05. You do it in the calculator. You get $4 million. You can also look at it this way, because 5% is 1 over 20. It's the same thing as dividing by 1 over 20. So if you simplify this, multiply the numerator and denominator by 20, or 20 over 1, this is going to be 20 here. These cancel out. Just get a 1 down here. And 20,000, or 200,000 times 20 is 4 million. Okay, let's cancel this out then. Now in the same way, 10% is the same thing as 10 over 100. Which reduces to 1 over 10. So if you want to do it the way the sharks do it, it's 200,000 divided by 1/10. But that's the same thing as inverting the divisor and multiplying. So 200,000 times 10 is 2 million. So that's the evaluation if you request 10% equity in your product or company. Now, in the same way, you could have gone and divided 400,000 or 200,000 by 0.10. In the calculator, you get the same thing. Let's go to the next one. 20% is the same thing as 1/5. So in that case, if you do it this technique, you say, oh, well, just multiply the 200,000 by 5. The same thing as dividing by 1/5. Invert and multiply. So if you're requesting 20% equity, then this will be 1 million. The next one, 25%. That's the same thing as 25 over 100 or 1/4. So you can use your calculator and divide the 200,000 by 0.25, and you get valuation of 800,000. Or you can just do it like the sharks and say, well, 200,000 times 4 is 800,000 valuation. Now for the 15%, that's 15 over 100. That reduces to 3 over 20. So you could go ahead and do it like the sharks and divide 15% by 3 over 20, which is the same thing as multiplying that by 20. Multiplying the 200,000 by 20 and then dividing by 3. So you get something like 1.3 million for that 15%. And for the 30%, that's 3 over 10. So you multiply the 200,000 by 10, divide by 3, and you get something like 6.7 million. You round off. And of course you can get the exact answer. A little bit more involved than the other ones. And it's actually 666,666. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.